Hey there, everyone. Today, we're diving into something that's on a lot of people's minds: Donald Trump's potential return to the White House and what it could mean for all of us. Whether you've been following politics closely or just trying to understand how these changes might affect your daily life, I'm here to break it all down in a way that makes sense. Let's talk about these proposed changes, not just as policy points, but as real shifts that could impact our families, our wallets, and our future. First off, let's tackle what's making headlines: Trump's reported plan to issue approximately 25 executive orders on day one. That's a massive number that could reshape multiple aspects of American life almost overnight. Think of it as a domino effect. One change triggers another, and before you know it, we're looking at a transformed landscape in everything from how we handle immigration to how we manage our retirement savings. Let's dive into these changes and what they might mean for you and your loved ones. Speaking of retirement savings, let's start with Social Security, something that touches nearly every American family in some way. Trump's team has been floating ideas about potentially restructuring how Social Security is funded, including the possibility of moving toward more privatized accounts. Now, I know this might sound alarming if you're counting on Social Security for your retirement, but let's break down what it actually means. The proposed changes could affect how benefits are calculated and distributed, potentially creating a system where younger workers might have more control over their retirement investments. However, and this is crucial, any major changes to Social Security would need Congress's approval, which means we're likely looking at a long process rather than overnight changes. Immigration is another hot-button issue where we're likely to see immediate action. Trump has been vocal about implementing what he calls a largest deportation operation in American history. This isn't just about numbers, it's about fundamental changes to how America handles immigration. The proposed revival of travel restrictions on certain countries and the pledge to end birthright citizenship could reshape American demographics and affect countless families. Whether you're directly impacted by immigration policies or not, these changes could affect your community, your workplace, and even your local economy. Let's talk money, because that's something we all care about. Trump's economic plans include some significant shifts in trade policy, particularly regarding tariffs. He's talking about implementing steep tariffs on imports from countries like China, Mexico, and even Canada. Now, here's what that means for your wallet. While these tariffs are designed to protect American industries, they often lead to higher prices for everyday items. Think about your weekly grocery run or that new phone you've been eyeing. These costs could increase if import tariffs go up. But it's not all about higher prices. There's also potential for job creation in certain sectors as companies might move production back to the U.S. On the tax front, there's an interesting proposal about eliminating income taxes on tipped wages. If you're working in the service industry or know someone who is, this could be a game changer. Restaurant servers, bartenders, and other service workers might see a significant boost in their take-home pay. However, like many of these proposals, this would need congressional approval and would need to be balanced against other budget considerations. Environmental policy is set for a major shift under a potential Trump presidency. He's made it clear he wants to prioritize American energy independence through increased oil and gas production, which could mean lower energy bills in the short term. However, this comes with environmental implications that we need to consider. The proposed withdrawal from global climate agreements and rollback of renewable energy initiatives could affect everything from air quality to America's position in the global clean energy market. It's a classic case of balancing immediate benefits against long-term impacts. Education is another area where we might see significant changes. Trump has promised to tackle what he calls critical race theory in schools and push back against COVID-related mandates. While these might sound like abstract policy changes, they could directly affect how schools operate, what they teach, and how they handle public health situations. For parents, teachers, and students. This means potentially significant changes in the classroom environment and curriculum. The federal workforce might see some of the most dramatic changes through the proposed revival of Schedule FA, an executive order that would make it easier to fire federal employees. This isn't just about government jobs. It's about how effectively federal agencies serve the public. Whether you're dealing with Social Security Administration, Veterans Services, or any other government program, these changes could affect the quality and consistency of services you receive. Federal spending is another area where we might see major shifts. Trump has indicated he wants to cut spending across many government departments, with the exception of defense. This could mean reduced funding for programs like Medicaid, food assistance, and housing aid. If you or someone you know relies on these programs, it's important to stay informed about potential changes and plan accordingly. Here's something interesting that hasn't gotten as much attention. Trump's team is reportedly working on plans to reshape federal regulations across the board. This could affect everything from environmental protections to financial rules. While some see this as cutting red tape, others worry about removing important safeguards. The impact could touch everything from the air we breathe to how our banks operate. One of the most immediate concerns for many Americans is healthcare. Trump has consistently criticized the Affordable Care Act and has indicated he wants to replace it with a new system. While details are still unclear, this could mean significant changes in how Americans access and pay for healthcare. If you're currently insured through the ACA marketplace or have a pre-existing condition, this is definitely something to watch closely. Let's talk about small businesses for a moment. Trump's proposed policies include both potential benefits and challenges for small business owners. While promised tax cuts could help your bottom line, changes in trade policies and regulations might affect your supply chains and operating costs. If you're running a business or thinking about starting one, you'll want to stay informed about these developments. The housing market could also see significant changes. Trump's team has discussed rolling back certain financial regulations, which could affect mortgage rates and availability. Whether you're a homeowner looking to buy or renting, these changes could impact your housing costs and options. For younger Americans, particularly those in college or paying off student loans, Trump's education policies could bring significant changes. He suggested major reforms to student loan programs and federal education funding. This could affect everything from how much you pay for college to how you repay your loans. Now, here's what makes all of this particularly interesting and challenging. Many of these changes would need to navigate a complex political landscape. Even with executive orders, implementation often requires cooperation from various government agencies and might face legal challenges. This means we could see a period of significant policy uncertainty as these changes work their way through the system. So, what can you do to prepare for these potential changes? First, stay informed. Follow reliable news sources and pay attention to how these policies might affect your specific situation. Second, consider building some flexibility into your financial planning. Whether it's your retirement savings, healthcare costs, or business operations, having a plan B is always smart when facing potential policy shifts. Remember, politics aside, these changes could affect real people in real ways. Whether you're excited about these potential changes or concerned about them, understanding what might be coming helps you make better decisions for yourself and your family. Keep an eye on these developments and don't hesitate to reach out to your representatives if you have concerns or support for specific policies. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these potential changes. How do you think they might affect you and your community? Drop a comment below and let's keep this conversation going. Remember to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to stay updated on these important developments. Thanks for being here today, and I'll see you in the next video.